Wow.
Morgan, I forgot to get the iPad, but I think the iPad is dead. It is completely.
It's definitely dead.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But we can see you guys up there. What's going on, you guys? I honestly, I don't even know what it's been. We had Judah July 1st.
Yes.
We haven't been live with our viewers in a while, and it just feels, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. How do you feel?
Weird. It's weird. We're
like
really back doing this.
Well, how do we do this? What do we do?
I forget.
What do we say?
Beep boop bop.
Oh, thank you, Abby. They're saying welcome back. Hey, Switchfoot Star. I'm assuming you guys can hear us and see us okay.
Yes.
Morgan.
Hopefully.
We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Would this be considered one of our most loaded videos we've done?
It's definitely our most loaded video we've ever done.
No. Our most loaded?
Yeah.
Well, I better get a drink then.
Oh, goodness. He didn't forget about the slurping, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, the slurping's coming.
That's the one thing he's remembered.
Oh, there's that sound. We filled our patrons in, just FYI, about what's going on. Shout out to the patrons that are in the chat. I see you. I see you. But there's going to be some stuff shared that our patrons probably that they don't know.
Yeah. Well,
they know more than the majority by far, but
now we're just going to go like more in depth about maybe some stuff we shared. Okay, I apologize to everyone involved.
What? There's the Archon is in the house.
Yeah, nice.
I was hoping you'd be here, Anthony.
Hey,
Wait,
guys.
is this going to get emotional?
Probably. Especially for me, because I am hormonal as a heck.
She said she's hormonal as heck.
Yes.
Let's not cuss.
I started my period, you guys. That's why I'm hormonal.
Can you hear?
My postpartum period.
Yeah.
Oy.
She's back. She's back on the cycles. What's up, Timmy? Jesus Freak is in the house. Good to see you, Timmy. Let us know if you can hear both of us well. Morgan sometimes tends to talk. She kind of comes into herself, and it's just kind of a quiet talking.
I'm talking right into the mic.
As long as they say they
Y'all
can hear you.
can hear me. Okay.
All right. Guys, hit that thumbs up. I'm forever a YouTuber where you guys know, the YouTube stuff runs deep. Hit that thumbs up, even on these.
Crooked my thumb looks right now.
Even on these kind of slightly heavy videos. I don't know. It feels heavy. I'm not saying it's heavy. Okay, Timmy says he can hear us.
It's just, yeah.
All right.
Come
Morgan,
on.
listen. Start us off. The people want to know, baby Judah. We had a very rough first delivery with Luca, and then baby Judah came around. We were trying to trust the Lord, walk in faith, that things were going to be good. Tell us how that went.
Wow, guys, I'm finally telling my birth story. So many of y'all have asked me about it on Instagram, and I've been like, I'm going to talk about it eventually, and then I never do.
We're back.
But we're here.
We're back.
Chit-chatting.
I feel like we need some popcorn. Mama Morgie. Mama Morgie, real quick. Lend me your ear. I literally, in real time, I'm something popped in my head that I'm wondering. You guys can't hear this because this is part of like the reveal for today. So lend me your ear, Morgan.
Okay.
I feel like occasionally this is. All right, maybe. Sorry, I apologize. No one likes secrets, but we're fleshing this out literally in real time, what this is going to look like. So that's why. But I'll tell you guys exactly what I told Morgan here in a moment. So go on, Morgan.
Okay. Anywho, back to the beginning. So, guys, Saturday, June 29th, I started having contractions around 1:45 p.m. that were very consistent and very like I had to pause, breathe through them. Yeah. And so we called Paul's parents to hang out with Luca, and my doula was like, you and Paul go get a yummy dinner and just relax. Like, things are probably going to start picking up pretty fast. And so Paul and I went and I have pictures.
We got pictures
to show this journey.
And Morgan, it just occurred to me, we have not revisited this or talked about it at all.
Literally not at all. Not me and him, like nothing.
This is the first time I'm like going back through the emotions of this event.
Know.
Go ahead, keep going.
It's ridiculous. We have issues.
Wow.
So this is Paul.
I look back. That's a good look. That's a good shot. That's a good angle.
I took this picture thinking like this is our last dinner, just me and you, before baby Judah comes and I'm super pregnant.
Do we get to see you?
No, that's all.
Oh, wow.
Whose fault is that?
Just keep going.
So we're eating this dinner. My contractions are picking up, and we get home. Paul's parents bring Luca back. Paul puts Luca to bed. I go to bed, try to get some sleep, and around 11 p.m. I start having contractions that like wake me up. And so I'm breathing through those, working through those from like 11 to 3 a.m. I'm working through these contractions, and I finally get to a point where I'm like, oof, like these are intense. I think I should call my doula.
Which at this point in Luca's delivery, your water had already broken.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even like have a moment like this with Luca.
Right.
Very drastically different. So I call my doula around 3 a.m. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, sorry to wake you. And she's like, it's my job. And also I was already awake feeding my baby, so it's fine. And so she was like, all right, yeah, it sounds like this is legit. Like, we're getting closer. So I'll head over within the next hour and be over there. So she arrives at 4 o'clock. My contractions had slowed down just a little bit, but still were probably like 6-ish minutes apart. And like intense, having to breathe through them, really like think about everything, whatever. So she gets here, and I go into Paul before she gets here, and I was like, hey, can you come out into the living room? I just might need you to like press on my hips or whatever to help me get through contractions. So he comes out, and she gets here, and we all are like sitting around on the couch.
You're giving a lot of details.
Babe!
Okay, they like this though?
Yes!
Okay.
This is a birth story.
So they like the really small details.
Yes.
Continue.
You guys tell me.
No, this is good. This is, I mean, you guys tell us.
Listen, I've had literally hundreds of people on Instagram be like, we need all the details.
No, this is good then. This is really good. I'm going to settle in.
Yeah, Paul's like, let's not drag this video on too long. I'm like, buddy, I'm telling a birth story. It's going on forever.
Okay, we got other stuff as well. I'm just saying, but this is really, so I'm going to settle in.
Key.
No, look, I'm going to settle in
key.
here.
This is what the people have waited for.
I can put my head back on this pillow, but keep going though. No, this is good.
Everyone's saying tell all.
I want it all, baby. I want it
Paul,
all. So,
we like it.
yes, very good. All right, continue.
So, anywho. So annoying.
Go. Seriously. I really got up super early. Not that early, but.
Babe.
Okay. My apologies.
This would go a lot faster if you stopped interrupting me. So, zip your pie hole.
Continue. No more from me.
She gets here, and basically, you guys, we all lay on the couch. We all fall asleep on the couch.
All three.
Thank goodness for a big couch.
Me.
I was here, Paul, and Hope.
And Hope over there.
And within that hour, like, my contractions completely stop. Everything's just done. I was so confused and frustrated and sad. And Hope, my doula, was like, it's okay, you know, it sounds like you're in pre-labor. I don't know what she said. I can't remember. It's been so long. And she was like, you know, just give it some time, but it does seem like things are going to pick up very soon. So I was just like, so next day is Sunday, and Sunday around, I don't know, 11 a.m., 12 p.m., I start having contractions again, but I'm like, oh, brother, like, here we go. We're going to go through this all
Ooh.
again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this come to Jesus moment because I was sitting on the bouncy ball, medicine ball thingy, and I just started crying my eyes out, and Paul was sitting here literally, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, if I have to like keep having this like fake labor and go through these really intense contractions, and like we get to the hospital and they tell me I'm only 4 centimeters, like I'm gonna get that epidural. Like, I can't do this.
Did you mention that you had decided I'm going all natural?
Yeah, I had decided an unmedicated vaginal birth. Obviously.
So this was kind of that first, like, I don't know if I have it in me moment.
Yeah.
Because I think they said about 85% of women that give birth, or men, 2024, have medicated. So only about 15% don't.
Yeah.
It's a
So
little scary.
that's what our hospital like statistics are.
It's painful. Painful. It's painful, people.
It is painful. You're right to give birth to a baby unmedicated. But anywho, I had this moment, and Paul was like, have you prayed about it? And I was like, not really. And he was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna pray, and you stay in here and you pray. And I think he might have prayed for me first before he left. And so then we prayed, and I felt so much more peace, and I was like, let's just take it one moment at a time. So anywho, from about 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., I was really in like picking up, where my contractions were like 4 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart, getting closer and closer. So actually I have a picture because my contractions were so close at one point that my contraction app kept popping up saying, go to the hospital, it's time.
It was like the Jim and Pam moment from The Office.
But no, because you weren't really worried at all. But
Oh.
and neither was I wanted to labor at home for as long as possible, and I was in touch with my doula, whatever. So my mom comes over, Luca's with your parents, and around 8 p.m. is when my contractions were like 2 minutes apart, and I was like, let's give it 30 more minutes and then we'll go. And at this point my contractions were very intense. Like, I needed counter pressure, I needed combs, I needed no one talking.
This was like the exciting part, and it really was exciting. I just saw real quick, Morgan, I got to address, someone said Paul is so bored at the birth of his own baby. But then someone else right after that said, Paul is such a great husband, praying for you. So you guys can decide who you want to, follow in the comments. But I'll be honest, like, I do get a little bit bored at some of those smaller details. But I'll say this,
he's honest.
partly is because it does get more intense and exciting. So I'm just excited to get to those parts.
Oh, brother. He's a dude. That's what all of that says. He's a dude, and they don't care about details. Okay. Anywho,
the dudes know what I mean. Dudes, are you with me?
Anywho, so 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, June 30th, we head to the hospital. My contractions, I was so scared that from like the drive to the hospital was gonna slow my contractions down. It did not.
Because they did last time. It crushed them.
Like completely stopped. And so luckily I was in a much better mindset, and I'm prepared to head to the hospital this time around. So we go. Me, Paul, my mom rode with us, and my doula drove separately. And we get to the hospital. We get out of the car, and my mom was going to go park the car while Paul helped me get up to the whatever labor and delivery. And this lady comes over and is like, y'all know this ain't the ER. And I was like, why would we go to the ER?
So I took the keys and I threw them into the bushes, and I said, there you go. And then we went in.
What the heck?
I said, now try to stop us. That was the office as well.
Anywho, so We got a wheelchair and Paul wheeled me up to the labor and delivery. How the heck did you find it?
I have no clue.
Because no one let us.
They pointed us, and you were still coherent at that point.
Yeah, ish.
No, you were always coherent, but you were coherent enough to help me find where we
Yeah,
went.
that's true.
I got lost later in the night.
That's, yeah.
At 3 a.m.
Wow.
At 3 a.m. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So we go to the whatever labor delivery, have to fill out paper, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Luckily, I had filled out most of the paperwork and brought it with me. Anywho, I'm like having full-on contractions at this point, like intense, very uncomfortable, and it didn't take too long, but they were like, we were going to put you in triage, but actually we're going to put you right straight into your room. And I was like, praise God for that. So they put us in a very nice, large room.
Really nice.
Very nice. And I, like, once again, am having contractions throughout all of this. They're picking up, getting closer and closer, much more intense. And I I hate this part about hospitals. I mean, there's a lot that I don't like about hospitals, but
and there's stuff we do like as well.
Yes. The anesthesiologist comes in. First of all, I loved all my nurses. That was one positive. But the anesthesiologist comes in and he's talking to me and talking to me and talking to me and talking to me and talking.
Well, it was like he was a computer. It was like he was a
robot.
Which I guess like, he just gives the same spiel to everybody.
You're
but
giving the same
it was kind of like, can you just move it along and let's get back to letting my wife.
I'm literally I would literally, he wouldn't stop. This is the thing. I would be like listening and then I would be like, ooh, and I'd like go into a contraction and I'd completely like go into myself. And he's still talking like I could actually hear what the heck he's saying. I have no idea what the dude said. I knew what he said, but I was like, why are you talking during a contraction? Like, that is so rude. Do you know how much energy and effort it takes to breathe through these freaking contractions? Oh, I could have punched him in the face, honestly. So I was very glad when he peaced out.
Wow.
But I was very kind.
You did a good job.
Smiling, be like,
you did a good job.
Yeah. So, anywho, he leaves. I start really laboring. I go into the shower and I'm laboring there, and the doula is like holding my hips, helping me. That was amazing. I go and I'm laboring over the toilet. That was like my favorite place to labor, just FYI. But actually, before I started doing that, the midwife comes in and she's like, do you want me to check you? And I was like, yeah, obviously I want to be checked. So she checked to see how dilated I was.
Oh, this was a crazy moment.
And we were all sitting there thinking the same thing of, oh dear.
Well, it was that moment, because we're having these flashbacks of what happened with Luca, of like, she just checked to see how dilated Morgan was. Morgan has been, once again, giving it her all, handling the contractions, pushing over the toilet. And it's that moment of fear of, if she says that you're only a small amount, like it's
I wasn't pushing just yet, but yes.
Okay. Well, I
guess
you were expending energy, like a lot of energy.
I mean, I basically spent 2 days in labor.
And it was late at night. Yeah. And so we're just thinking immediately in that moment, God, please, because if she says you're not dilated very much, it's going to fold back into what happened last time.
Yeah.
What it felt like.
Yeah. So she checks me and she's like, want to hear? And we were all like, uh-huh. And she's like, you're 8 centimeters. And we were like,
there was a cheer. Didn't we all cheer?
Yes, literally. Like, I laid back. I was like, thank you, God. And because I had told myself, I was like, if she tells me I'm 4 centimeters, I'm not going to make it. Like, I just will not. And I was like, but if she tells me, I'm saying this to myself, if she tells me I'm 8 centimeters, I got this. And she told me I was 8, and I was like, I got this. And so that's when I headed into the bathroom and started laboring over the toilet. And pretty quickly after she told me that I started pushing over the toilet. And it was wild because, like, just something crazy took over me. Like, I don't even know. It's not even like I felt like I needed a push, but just my body was pushing. It was just wild. And I turned into a wild woman. And it was just crazy. I mean, I was like, and something that I had prayed for was that my water would not break until I was pushing, because I had tested positive for GBS, and I had been told, like, if your water breaks, like, you're going to have to get pumped with antibiotics. But if it doesn't break, then we can just pump like one dose of antibiotics and you should be good for the rest of the time. So I just really didn't want to be hooked up to an IV the entire time I was in labor. So I was able to get that done within like the first 30 minutes of being there. They gave me antibiotics, and then they took the IV out of me and everything, which was great. So my water broke when I was pushing over the toilet. It was just crazy. My mom was in there and she was like, Morgan, your water just broke. And I was like, I was in La La Land at this point, another universe. And so I guess when my water broke, it wasn't my poop, but Merconium, his poo-poo came out. And so for that reason, I had to get antibiotics afterwards. But anywho, he was totally fine, FYI. So anyways, they take me from the toilet into the bed, which I was not the biggest fan of. I wanted to have him over the toilet. It just felt the best to me. And she honestly, they just kind of like took me in there, and I had no energy to fight back or anything. So they put me on the bed, and I said, as I was getting up there, I was like, I don't want to deliver him on my back. And she was like, okay, let's get up there, get on your hands and knees. And
They wanted you on.
Yeah. And you can have some contractions up here for a while, and let's see how it goes. And so I get up there, and I'm on my hands and knees laboring. And my mom told me this later. I didn't know this, but I got to a point where my midwife came over and she was like, all right, one more contraction and then we're going to flip you over. And I was kind of like in the middle of a contraction, but like thinking like, no, I'm not going to be flipped over. And apparently at that time she went over to my mom, was like, she's not going to like me, but I'm getting this baby out. That is really honestly very frustrating to me, because I said in my birth plan, I'm not in a rush to get my baby out. Let him come out at his own pace.
Be honest though, to me, as I perceived the situation, it looked like your energy, because you were at this point pushing. Was this when you were like really vocally pushing, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, but I mean, I was observing you, and I was like, it seems to me that she's running out of energy.
Mm-hmm. I think that, and who knows, hindsight is 2020, but I feel like if I had been able to labor on the toilet, I would have had more energy. But I feel like when they had me flip over onto my back, I was like laying there and like in a crazy world up in my head, and like it made me like sleepy almost to be on my back. And it was very hard to like I felt everything, don't get me wrong, but I for some reason like couldn't feel certain things. I don't know, it just felt better on the toilet. It felt fine too on my hands and knees, but yeah, as soon as they flipped me over, I was like, are you kidding me? But I just didn't have it in me to fight, because I was just so focused on the contractions and everything. And my doula, actually, at one point you said something to the doula of like, hey, like she doesn't want that, which I don't know what that was about. I don't know if it was when I was on my back or not.
Can't remember.
My doula was a like backup doula, so she hadn't been who I walked through my pregnancy with. She hadn't been who I like went through my birth plan with. So she was amazing, don't get me wrong, loved having her, was such a blessing, but I don't think like she was really prepared to like advocate for me in the way that I would have preferred. And so several things happened that I didn't love, but I was put on my back, And I start pushing, and oh my goodness, it was just insane.
So let me say this, because she started pushing, and that's when things got super real, because you had the team of nurses there that were like, all right, you need to, push, Morgan, push. This is it. The baby's coming. I can see the head. Here he comes. And so Morgan was pushing, and I'm sorry, Morgan, but I got to get on you here. You had told me leading up to this pregnancy, we would watch movies. The Office, I keep going back to that Office episode where Pam gives birth. The Office, these other movies where it makes it look like the woman giving birth is, she's screaming, she's in blood-curdling cries, intense pain, and we would watch those shows or movies, and Morgan would say, Paul, that's not how it needs to be. They over-dramatize it, blah, blah. Come to find out, that is how it was.
Okay, wait. Wait.
Is that not the truth?
I was not blood-curdle screaming, babe. I was very intense grunting, yes, but I was not like... That was not that. I was not doing that.
Okay, well, maybe it was.
Dare say that I was.
It wasn't quite there, but it was like.
No.
That's lit.
It was.
We have different.
And that I have a video. Don't make me pull it up, boy.
Do we have the video?
Yes.
We recall things slightly differently. Still friends.
Well, here's the thing. He is right. In that when we would watch movie scenes and stuff, I was always like, oh, they so over dramatize it. It doesn't have to be like that. And here's why I thought that. Because freaking social media, freaking all the natural birth Instagrams show these videos of these women having...
breathing so
calmly,
like, and then the baby comes out. Yeah.
They're like...
yeah.
Oh, my baby's here.
Right.
So it's not my fault.
Listen,
I was misled too.
I give you. We were both misled. It was the blind leading the blind.
Thank you, Lindsay.
It was the blind leading the blind because you blindly led me, who was blind. Ultimately,
You could have done your own stinking research, buddy.
Yeah, I give you all the praise though. The fact that you did it without getting the epidural, without getting the other stuff, I'm amazed. So go ahead and.
Are you sure? Are you sure
Oh,
I'm allowed to scream?
Push a baby out of my 1,000%. All I'm saying is I felt like I was a deer in the headlights watching something that was once again going wrong because of the way I was prepped for it.
Yes, Paul was afraid. He had major PTSD from Luca's birth, and so
when I see what I perceive to be blood-curdling cries, you can say they weren't, and maybe I'm remembering it more, whatever, but I'm watching that happen over and over again, and I'm seeing the nurses saying, you got it, Morgan, but you got to push harder. You got to push harder.
Yeah.
And then I see her bring out these tools that look like torture instruments.
Well, yes, they do look like that.
These prong things. And
no, she didn't use forceps on me. She didn't use any of those on me.
She didn't?
No.
Okay, well, I saw him wheeling them over, and it looked like that. So in my mind, I'm thinking Morgan is about to run out of gas, and they're going to have to do an emergency C-section, and who knows what's going to happen. Are you going to lose a lot of blood type thing? That's right. What I thought it was.
You started spiraling.
I thought it was very much going south.
Yeah. It was not. It literally was not. Paul kept asking, after I gave birth to Judah, Paul kept asking, so is she okay? Was that a really traumatic birth? Is everyone else okay?
Well, there was major rippage. There was a lot of blood. I thought you were going to pass out.
No, I was totally fine. I felt totally fine, babe. I literally did. I felt totally fine. I mean, I just delivered a baby, but I was fine. There was blood. Yeah, I just pushed out a human being out of me. Like, yeah, there was blood. I did tear. I had secondary tearing and got 15 stitches, which was very painful. Because I felt it all. Anywho. Yeah. Rewind. I didn't even get to talk about pushing the baby out.
Oh, go on. Continue.
So I
I'm
got to the point where I'm pushing hardcore, and yes, the nurses and midwife are cheering me on, not screaming at me saying, "You gotta push harder, Morgan." They were cheering me on. Yes, they were saying, "You got this, Morgan. One more push, push it. You got this. You got
Release
this.
the
Don't give up."
tapes. Release the tapes.
I'm not releasing those tapes.
I'm just remembering it a little differently than you. I'm
Well,
remembering it more intense.
Okay. I'll let you watch the videos after this, babe.
I'll admit if I'm wrong. I
Okay.
might be wrong.
Oh goodness. Anywho, yes. So I pushed, and baby Judah came out. It was the most insane feeling that I've ever felt in my life. It was just like blah, 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 blah. I felt every part of his body leave my body,
Wow, that's crazy.
and it was just insane. And they laid him on me, and he was healthy as can be. And they wanted to check him because of the poo-poo that was in the sack or whatever in the water. But he was totally fine. But I got to be the first one to hold him, and they tried like wiping him off, and I was like, stop. Because I said I did not want him wiped off. They stinking can't listen, man. So frustrating. But they took him, and Paul went with them for them to get him checked out. It was in the same room, but it was just over in a corner. And they brought him back, and he was great. And I got to hold him for the literal hour that they were stitching me up. That was so frustrating. Like that whole golden hour that they talk about, yeah, that did not exist for me. I did not have the golden hour because I was being stitched up during my entire golden hour.
Ooh.
Hey,
don't get me wrong. They were encouraging, but then it seemed like it got very intense of like, we got to get this baby out.
Okay, no, it wasn't, but it got more intense in the sense that he was partially out of me, and they were like, keep pushing, get him all the way out.
All right.
But literally Paul was like, she lost a ton of blood. Is she gonna need a blood transfusion? Is she okay?
Release
Was
the
this
tapes.
a traumatic birth? And literally all the nurses were like, what? No, she did awesome. Like this was great. Like,
I agree. You did awesome.
She didn't. Sure, her blood's fine. She doesn't need a transfusion or anything. And blah blah blah. Clearly, Paul just wasn't prepared for.
Why was I not
birth at
prepared
all.
for this?
I don't know, babe. Why weren't you? That's my question.
I don't know.
Anywho, so that's the birth of baby Judah. Jeez, so Pete. Yeah, I should have done the birth story honestly on my own because Paul interrupted me. Really, just hurt it.
Oh, I
story.
apologize. My apologies, everybody. I'm sorry that I quelched the momentum.
You did.
But no, it's very good. Well, praise the Lord. It was amazing. It was amazing.
It really was a redemptive birth story. I was prepared for whatever. But yeah, getting to do an unmedicated birth was really a wild experience.
Well, so would you do if we had another baby, would you do it unmedicated again?
I'm never having another baby again. And
answer the question.
And who knows?
So you're not saying yes or no?
I say nothing. You ask me right now, I'm going to tell you I want an epidural all the way, but like come baby being here, I probably would change my mind. We'll see. But I'm not getting pregnant again. We're done.
There you have it, folks.
Okay.
So, I mean, there may be more questions, and by all means, you can... Excuse me, hold on. You can write them in the chat. You can hit Morgan up on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll probably do an Instagram follow-up for the ladies. An uninterrupted for this guy.
I get it how ladies could want those details, and to guys, it's... Yeah. But no. Oh, the Archon with the super chat. What's the Archon saying? We need Paul's version beginning to end after Morgan's. I mean, I think I interjected my version, and it was slightly different than Morgan's. And, who was truly the most accurate, I guess we'll never know. But we both...
Oh, I'm going to show Paul the videos. Don't you worry.
We both gave how we perceived it in real time. I wanted to share, before we get to a very big announcement life update, the last 2 months since the birth of Judah.
The first 5 weeks.
Okay. Well, so we haven't seen you guys for a little while, and
It's been a while.
there's been some very good days, but all in all, I think it's one of those things, again, so much of this goes into your expectations, because I felt like I was talking to friends, perhaps even friends in the live chat right now, who said, oh man, like, you adapt and adjust to baby number 2 and you find your rhythm much more easily than baby number 1.
Yeah.
And it just has absolutely not been the case for us.
Yeah, we had so many people telling us, like, oh, the transition from 1 to 2 is way easier than the transition from 0 to 1. So we were like, all right, amazing.
It all depends, I suppose, on the type of baby you have.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Judah has just been a more challenging baby right out of the gate than Luca was. And it's made for, at times, chunks of days, very, very difficult, very exhausting emotionally and physically, and just on life, marriage, challenging. But then there are very bright spots, and we praise God for those, and we are starting to find a rhythm, it feels like, finally.
Yeah, the first 5 weeks were the hardest 5 weeks of my life and Paul's life ever, truly. We had a lot of struggles with Judah's belly and breastfeeding and all the issues. I don't know, not all the issues, but lots of issues, and it took a while to get them figured out. It was very exhausting and emotionally draining, and then on top of that, having a toddler, it was just like, y'all are insane to think that this was easy.
I don't know. The Archon says he was guilty of that advice.
Yes, you were.
You aren't the only one, the Archon, but it just depends. Because if we had another baby like Luca, or, whatever, like an easy baby, it would have probably been that way.
But that's the thing. Luca wasn't necessarily easy. Like, for the first 3 months with Luca, I struggled severely with breastfeeding, had major mental breakdowns, but there was only one, and we could take turns, and I could get breaks. But when you have 2, it's like, I'm with one always, and he's with one always. And it's like, there's no, like, break until they go to sleep, and one of them doesn't sleep, so.
Yeah, you're trying to do normal life things and work and stuff, and it is a lot. But we're here, baby.
But doing much, much better. Much better. Whew.
God willing, we made it
Praise
through.
God
We made
Almighty.
it through the hard things. So those of you who maybe watch this and are in a moment like that, like, stick with it. We pray that God gives you strength. He will give you strength, but try to find help, because it does take a village, and it's, if we hadn't had any help, like, obviously we constantly are like, I wish we had more help, but if we hadn't had the help that we have, I mean, it would have been that much more.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else with that?
Nope.
So, like, obviously we could take questions in real time, but I feel like we just keep moving because we just feel like we have a lot. What's the super chat say? Thank you, Ria007.
Oh, Paul, do you ever feel pressure to get a real job, being that you are the patriarch slash leader of the home?
So we are going to
Thank you for your super chat.
Yeah, thank you for your super chat, Ria. We are going to cover that a little bit. I'm always looking to see, what do we need? What do I need to do? What can I do? Do I need to take on more? What's it going to look like? And yeah, I'm having those thoughts and conversations with Morgan and myself.
The only people who say that this isn't a real job are the haters. So this is a real job. Social media content creation is a real job in every single way. It requires almost no, it does. It requires more than most 9 to 5 real jobs do. So,
Well, and it depends kind of like your, there are different styles and types of content creation, and some are incredibly demanding, some aren't as demanding, but it is a demanding job. I've been fortunate to get to do a little bit of work outside of this as well that's helped. But yeah, so we'll just kind of end it there as we continue with this video, because like I said, we're going to address that to some extent. So yeah, we already kind of filled our patrons in with this, but we have talked about it and decided we're going to pump the brakes. And I'm just going to say pump the brakes, and then we're going to share what we're pumping the brakes on, kind of to say, like, it's not that we're for sure never going to go back to it, but it's kind of like we're going to halt this. We're going to pump the brakes as we pivot and look at what else is out there. And who knows if we may come back to it on some level exactly like it was, change some things and come back to it. Who knows? But at this point, we're going to pump the brakes on some things. One of those things being the 24 Hours with series. Had a great run, saw some really cool stuff, amazing conversations, cool stuff come from it. Thank you guys for the support and believing in the project. I really like the 6 episodes that we were able to release. Had a lot of fun with it. We gave it our all, and now we're pumping the brakes on it.
Such a cool experience and opportunity to get to do what we did, you guys. And I mean, I really do feel like the Lord worked in the 6 episodes that we did, and I pray that it continues to do work, that God continues to use those videos. It's not like we're taking them down or anything. But yeah, I mean, it was so much work, so much money, so much time, and we just don't have that in us right now to do more of those. Like Paul said, pumping the brakes. For now, we're done, but who knows what the Lord has in store in the future. We are always open-handed to God and where he wants to take us, and what he wants to do with us. So
again, thank you guys for your support and encouragement in that project. It was really cool. Is really cool. The next thing is this is very big, a very big announcement. Morgan, shall I let you? Man, it just feels weird even saying it, because it's such a big announcement. Because it's such a drastic pivot.
I know.
From where we've been and what we've done for years.
Yeah. We've been on YouTube for almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years in November. And guys, like, we've poured our heart, soul, tears, blood, everything that we have into this channel.
For real, I cut my finger once setting up the tripod. The literal blood.
Oh, brother. I didn't know you did not.
Just kidding.
It is so much, and man, like, the grind of YouTube is intense and a lot, and there's a lot of pressure that YouTubers carry that you don't understand unless you're a YouTuber who uploads on a regular basis and like does this as your full-time job. And Paul specifically has carried that weight and mantle and has like kept us going for 8 years now. There have been many times that I'm like, we're throwing in the towel, I'm quit, we're done, this is the worst. And then the next day I'm like, no, never mind. But Paul has never ever in 8 years, literally never been like, maybe it's time to peace out on YouTube. And probably, I don't know, a couple weeks into like our break,
like post-delivery break.
Yeah, postpartum break. Me and Paul sat down and we're having a conversation about YouTube, and like this was before he posted the Ruslan 24 Hours with video, and he was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about YouTube anymore. I don't know what to do about it or where I stand with it.
I think it was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It was a feeling of, I don't know where our voices belong on this platform.
Yeah.
Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah. And also, like, just being honest, like, both of us are kind of like, I just don't know if we have it in us, like, to keep our voices out there in such a, like,
Needing to have insights into every big event.
yeah.
The big hot topics. Paul and Morgan, what are you gonna do? What are you weighing in on it?
Yeah.
What's your critique? What's your wisdom?
Are you going to make a video about blah, 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 blah? Did you see that blah, blah, blah happen? When are you guys going to make a video about it? Blah, 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 blah.
And don't get me wrong, part of that is very fun. I still like the concept of being able to give commentary on what's going on in life. Like, I really deep down like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, as I'm just observing the space and the climate, and even, I'm not trying to like go there necessarily, but the negativity of things that are negative and critiquing in a harsh way get more attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like the big reason of this pivot,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of going along with the pressure and seeing other channels and it's just, in this world, I'm having to pull back for a number of reasons. One, just the stage of life, but for a number of reasons, where do we belong in this space?
Yeah, and so we started kind of talking about, like, wow, what are we gonna do? And we both kind of were like, are we done with YouTube? Like, are we peacing out? And we actually, like, we did kind of come to that conclusion of, I think we're just done. And for probably a couple of days, that was like our decision, and we like kept talking about it of like, whoa, like we're just gonna be done with YouTube
Because we don't want to see as much as we have loved a lot of the content we've put out, aspects of that content, because we really have. As much as we have loved that, it just didn't feel right to continue that. It just didn't feel right. It was like, this just is, it needs to change.
Yeah, it just felt like we were gonna be forcing something.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we were gonna be, and it just didn't feel right. And so we made the decision, like, we're done with YouTube. And it's wild. Like, to me, I feel like this like insane pressure, it seemed to me, like lifted off of you and lifted off of me. But
it was a pretty remarkable feeling.
Yeah. But I feel like there was still this piece in me and in Paul of like, we can't like throw YouTube away forever for good, right? Like, we can't actually be saying we are done, like we're never getting on our YouTube channel again. And so then we like started talking about like, well, we could just like occasionally upload a video or randomly go live.
Which I'm sorry, I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but these channels, and I'm not throwing shade on them because life happens and it can get very difficult. But you hear them say they've been posting weekly or regularly, and then they come on and make a video saying, guys, we're just gonna post when we feel really passionate about something or when the mood hits us, and that's kind of code for don't expect to see us for 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Or ever again.
Like, it'll probably be a year, and then maybe we'll post one. That's just kind of what happens.
Yeah.
And so we were like, we could do that
Mm-hmm.
to just release this, take the pressure off, make a significant change. So that was we were entertaining that.
Yeah. But Paul and I are both creative, so we like to create, we like to entertain. I think Michaela just wrote up there of wait, you're telling me I've been hanging out with you guys for the past 8 years? And like, yes, like some of you guys have literally been alongside us for 8 years. That's insane.
Shout out Hannah Williamson in the chat, longtime friend. She was there really early on.
Yes.
Fully support. So real.
Yes. And like the thought of just throwing out this like community that we've created that the Lord has helped us build is really sad. And just like piecing out on y'all, I'm like, dang, we can't do that completely. Like,
and then something fell in our lap.
and then something. Oh, you can take it away.
And I'll be honest, it's very exciting for us. I'm just gonna be real. Like what we're about to share is very exciting for us. So I hope you guys see that excitement and feel the excitement, and that can bring you joy. Yeah. But it's also a little bit sad because I just know there are people that watch the channel for a certain type of content, which is here in Paul and Morgan weigh in on the faith, cultural, hot topics that you care about. I like that stuff too. And so when you hear this pivot, you're not going to be as into this. And so I'm sad for that. And no fault to you. Yeah. No fault at all to you. I hope that some of you guys will continue on this journey with us and really enjoy this new vein that we're, this new adventure, really. But no fault, no, I don't know, shade from me at all. If you're like, oh, guys, I'm going to go ahead and
peace out.
It's sad. It's really sad to say that, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah. We are moving directions. We're going to be doing family vlogs, guys. And there's a lot of opinions on family vlogs.
Well, it's even saying family vlogs. So get this, guys. Yeah. Here are mine, because I was writing out something. It's not just when I think family vlogs, I think the cookie cutter. Yeah. You don't go deep. It stays surface level, and you're just saying little things.
Everything looks perfect.
They
look like they live literally the best lives ever in the universe.
And there's not a ton of dialogue, but when there is dialogue, it's just kind of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What I'm envisioning, and there's a big another piece to this that we're about to say.
Yes.
But what I'm thinking with these vlogs, our daily lives, is a goal to not do the safe cookie cutter videos, but rather real life in all caps. The highs and lows, struggles, tough conversations, obviously fun too, and excitement as well. Joining the fam as we go to this one thing that I'm about to share, sharing about growth and even some hot topic conversations. So when big things happen with, in that realm of the hot topics like we have been doing for years, we can still talk about it just in more of a vloggy style.
Yeah. Within
the vlog, because we're still talking about it in our day-to-day lives. So there's another big piece to the vlogs, and this is where it just kind of fell in our lap, and we were suddenly like, oh,
this would be great.
This is conducive to vlog content. Do you want to just share? So I like hearing you share it. It's just, it's fun to hear you share it. Came back from a pickleball tournament.
All right. Yeah. A lot of you guys know that we love pickleball in this family. My whole family, like my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, love pickleball. Paul's parents, Paul, we're all obsessed with pickleball. We just stinking love pickleball.
It's not just the sport, but the social side of it. It opens up some awesome doors. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is not just, I mean, we've had so many cool opportunities with pickleball, you guys. We've met so many amazing people who know God and love him deeply, people who don't know God at all, people who say they know God but aren't necessarily living a biblical lifestyle, whatever. All kinds of people. It's been amazing. We've been able to pour into these people's lives and then pour into us and just like build this community. And it's just been so neat to see that like a sport of this thing can do. Like, I don't know. I've just never been a part of something like that. So, anywho, Paul is really good at pickleball, FYI. And
real quick, someone asked, will the family vlogs be on YouTube? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's right here, baby. You're sticking right here with us, Paul and Morgan YouTube channel.
Yes.
Continue. Thank you, babe, for saying that.
Yes, Paul is very good at pickleball, and he's been doing tournaments. And one day after a pickleball tournament that he was in,
2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Yeah,
very recently.
I came up to him that evening after we put the kids to bed, and I was just like, babe, what's going on here with the pickleball? What are your aspirations? Where are you going with this?
And immediately in my mind, I was like, my wife's putting on the clamps. She's putting down the hammer, saying, you've been at this too much. You've been investing too much time. Let's no more for a while, or you need to cut your time by 3/4.
He plays it so much. He talks about it all the time. It's just very much so a passion of his. So I asked him that, and I could just tell, like, he kind of like got shy. He was a shy boy, and was like, oh, I wouldn't mind like becoming a 5-0, which is like a rating. You're a rated player.
You guys know I like putting ratings on stuff. Movies, pizza,
true.
And now there's this sport that is has
ratings.
It's very specific to the nth.
Yes. So he was like, I'd like to, get to be a 5-0, maybe play some more like some bigger tournaments, whatever. And I was just like, babe, why don't you just try and go pro? And he was like, what? He's like, you're insane. I was like, just do it. Like, why not? Just go pro in pickleball.
5 years ago, if you had asked me, where are you going to be in 5 years, Paul? I would have said, I think we're still going to be on YouTube, or I may be acting. I may be doing some directorial work. I may be a musician. Those were like the things I was thinking.
A musician.
There was 0% of me thinking that I would be attempting to be a professional athlete. I had back surgery 3 years ago. After playing college soccer, I just thought all competitive sports were behind me, and now here we are on a journey to try to be a professional pickleball player. And we will be vlogging these journeys. So like when you again go back to the vlogging, it's not just like, oh, here's a vlog of
Paul playing pickleball.
But yeah, going to a pickleball tournament and Paul playing pickleball. But this opens up a great door because we're going to be on the road. We're going to be in a van going, to these tournaments hours away. So it'll make just great content, great opportunities to have conversations about all kinds of stuff, just our day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. And that just gives kind of some framework and groundwork for this new chapter.
Yes. So that is wild. Hannah Williamson says, listen, I'm not sure how all this thing works, but if there's a game at some point, I'm going to have to come up and watch a game.
Hannah, please do. We would love to have you. We'll get you in the vlog. We will get Hannah in the vlog.
Is there such a thing as Olympic pickleball? Hey, they were mad that it wasn't in the Olympics this year.
It may be coming, but the Archon also said he wants to meet up again, so he could be in a pickleball vlog when we head to Michigan.
Wherever the tournaments.
We're going to be doing some traveling, boys and girls. And the vlogs, they may not all be around, when we hop in the van. No. There are going to be all kinds of stuff. We may vlog going just a day in the life here, but that will be a cool framework for this.
Guys, I can't tell you, we can't promise like that a vlog is going to be out every week. And we still plan on keeping our Patreon and being able to connect and go deeper there, having our Zoom calls with patrons. But we're at such a wild season of life where our kids are just very much our priority, as they should be. And so wanting to just make sure that they're our priority, we're pouring into them, giving them what they need. It's just, yeah, we don't have like a lot of room to just like go crazy online. But I can't tell you how much pressure has been taken off of both of our shoulders. Like, we'll never really be able to explain it. Unless you're a YouTuber, you just probably won't get it, and that's okay. But there is just a wild amount of pressure on people who create social media content, on Christians who make and create content for online platforms of all sorts. Honestly, like, if you have other Christian YouTubers that you watch, like, pray for them. Seriously, pray for them, because it's just a lot. It's a lot. Any job is a lot, but this is a job, and it's a blessing, and it's a ministry, and it's just a lot. And, you know, with this pivot, and with Paul pursuing this, and with us being more a part of like in-person community of the pickleball community, like, we very much so are looking at this as ministry opportunities, and just like, Lord, our hands are open, use us how you want to use us. So yeah, we're super excited. And I've seen some of the comments already being like, don't exploit your kids in the vlogs, you sickos.
Family vlogging.
Like I said, there's a lot of opinions about family vlogs.
To be honest, it'll mostly be us.
It will mostly be us.
But dude, Luca's going to be jumping in there. Are you kidding me?
Luca is a cutie pie, and so is Judah.
He loves being in front of the camera most of the time.
Most of the time. But not for 1 second when we put pressure on our kids to be in videos. Like, if they don't want to be in a video, they ain't gonna be in a video.
I honestly, when you said family vlogs, like right out of the gate, I was like, huh?
Oh,
I thought it was more of like just like you and I vlogging, and they might just like skirt through the camera sometime, be like, "Mommy, can I have this?" Yes, Luca. And then it's like back to us. Like, that's the majority of it.
Right.
You
know? Yeah. So everyone just calm down.
But yeah, I mean, they're gonna make appearances.
Yeah, I mean, life vlogs.
They're life vlogs. Yeah. Family vlogs just sounds too.
Yeah, family vlogs has that.
Can't get that out of your mind, you guys. Get family vlogs out of your mind.
Life vlogs, and kids are part of our life, and so you're gonna see them in the background, and you'll see a clip of me playing with my children, whatever. So calm it the poop down, okay?
Family vlogs.
My bad. Jeesh. Also, I don't totally agree with this whole your kids are too young to consent to being online. Like, I never consented to my parents filming the most ridiculous family videos of me and sharing them with my entire family, but I'm totally okay. I don't know. I don't get it.
It'll be mostly us, okay?
Yeah.
It'll be mostly Morgan and I.
Mostly us. So, there we go.
Guys, new chapter of life. Very new. I'm experiencing new excitement, new hope, new motivation, new drive, pressing into this unlike really anything I ever have. It reminds me a little bit of college soccer, but with even more focus, because being married with kids, like, I have to. Just taking this like half-heartedly is not an option. So it just feels like a new world is kind of opened to me, and it's a really, really cool feeling. So yeah, excited to share more of that with you guys as we go along, and yeah, just work on our marriage, raise these kids, and continue to do YouTube
in a totally different way.
Comment, guys. I mean, obviously I see comments coming in on the live stream, but yeah, comment your all's thoughts on all of this. I anticipate, as you already said, we're gonna have some people unhappy. I anticipate the haters will jump on all kinds of stuff, whatever they want to do. I don't really care. I'm going after it, and Don't care what the haters say. I do appreciate those who have stuck with us for a while. And
It's wild because like with this just like new outlook on YouTube of like we're just doing this for us.
sounds selfish. But there's got to be some of that. Like, we have a
Like,
family.
we're doing YouTube in a way that there's so much demand from people when you're creating content of like, are you going to put this video out? Why haven't you talked about this? Why aren't you doing this? Well, you should do it more like this, blah, 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 blah. And that's just a lot of pressure, like I said. And with these new videos, with these life vlogs, it's like we're just doing them because we're going to enjoy them. And we hope you guys enjoy them. But it's okay if you don't.
And we may, on occasion, still do a live stream like this to connect with you guys in this specific kind of way. But expect...
But probably more with our patrons than anyone else.
expect the pivot. Expect the pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot. You guys know that's kind of... We're no strangers to pivoting. And
Story of our lives.
got to be willing to pivot. All right, guys. Really interesting video. Hope you enjoyed it. A lot was said. A lot was shared. It was great to be back with you guys. Man, really. Haters always going to hate, Hannah says.
Yes.
Really good seeing your all's pretty faces, your all's pretty screen names. I have missed you guys, but it has been a very refreshing, challenging, but refreshing 2 months. It's been a good break.
It has. We've never, ever, ever taken a break like this, ever, in 8 years.
It's been very nice.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be seeing you for our first vlog here soon, and excited to share our life with you guys. TTYL, I don't think we have the updated patron role, so we will work on getting that up. Love you guys. Be blessed. Have a great night. Talk soon.
Love you guys. Wow. Crazy. Have hope.
And be free.